I'm now going to go through some of the effects of expansion and contraction that we see in our daily life. So one of the common ones that we see is that when we hang all these overhead cables, we always hang them very loosely like that. By the way, in case you wonder why we don't see this much in Singapore, all our cables are actually hidden underground. That's why you see a lot of road works all the time. Each time they want to do something about the cable, they have to dig the ground. But in a lot of countries, the cables are actually hung up like that, and they have to hang it very loosely because at night, when the temperature is cold, these cables are going to contract because they are metals, and so this is how it may look like at night, a bit exaggerated. But if you do not hang them loosely at night when they contract, right, you might end up with the cables actually snapping in the middle. Okay, so this is another common effects. Our MRT rail tracks or any train tracks, you notice that they will have gaps like that. Okay, they cannot lay the whole piece of metal as a continuous track, because if that happens, when it comes to a very hot day or summer, then the tracks may just expand any way they want, and the other side may expand another way, and then this can cause the train to derail. So when the tracks become like that, we use the word buckle. We say that the tracks are going to buckle because there's nowhere for them to expand. So having these little gaps will allow them to fill up the gap when they expand, and that still keeps the track straight. And again, I think this is quite common. If you go to the school ground next to the playground or at the car park area, you will see that the tiles are laid like that. So then on a hot day when the tiles expand, you see the spaces here, that allow them to expand without really banging into one another, and so there's no cracking. Now this can be a very big issue. So therefore, sometimes on roads, a very long stretch of road, then you see all these gaps so that we can still travel very smoothly. At the same time, we still allow for expansion. You see, this is one part of the road, this is another part. And on hot days, when this part expand, it will push, and this part expand, it will push the other way, but we still have gaps for them to close up. So the whole stretch of road can still remain very even. We want the road to be even. Now this is what's going to happen when the road is uneven. So can you see, these are real pictures taken from internet, and these are real cases where the road actually buckle. So you see, when you don't give them space to expand, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen, right? The expansion forces are very great, and you can't really stop it. So the only way that the road can find a place to expand is upwards. So then this can cause a lot of danger to the drivers. And this is a real case again. I think they would have put in the expansion gaps, but may not be enough if the weather gets really hot. So you see, they decide to expand in the way they want, and there's no space, right? So they'll expand outwards. So this is the only way for them to expand, which is outwards. And when that happens, your train can derail. And real cases have happened, like this is in Hualien, Taiwan, 2016, when they had a very hot summer. The derailment, sometimes if it's just a little bit of a curve in the track, the train can also derail. So that can cause a lot of damage to property and lives. If you notice, the LED apparatus that we use have the word Pyrex written. Now, these are not ordinary glass. Pyrex glass actually expands just a little, and that's important because if you have normal glass, sometimes this will happen. You see, when you put in hot water, the inside of the glass would want to expand. But remember, glass is actually a poor conductor of heat. So for the heat to travel to the outside, it takes some time. So the outside of the glass is still cold. The inside is hot. So the inside wants to expand. but the outside is cold, so the outside hasn't expanded. So that caused a strain, and this strain will then cause the glass to crack. So you need a special glass to make sure that this expansion is not too much so that the strain doesn't cause it to crack. So in our lab, we use Pyrex glass, and Pyrex glass have that special property. Sometimes we need to transport water, gas over a very long distance. And again, like this is the normal gas pipe, and this is the pipe, after expansion. Now, if you don't guide them where to expand, then they will just expand as and where they can find the space to. And when that happens, the pipe may be curved, and sometimes the expansion can cause a crack, certain parts of the pipe, and then your water leaks out, your gas leaks out. So that's not what you want to see. So that's when we have what we call expansion bands. So these are expansion bands. The expansion band is a way that you can guide the pipes to expand in a very safe manner. So uh, when it's hot, these pipes will expand around this area and become something like that. So we guide it to expand in a way that cause very little damage. So if you look at the real life example, so there you are. You see, so these are expansion bands. So it doesn't expand here. So if you expand anyhow here, it can actually cause the pipes to break. So we give them the allowance to expand properly here without causing much damage. And now breeches, especially those made of metal, uh, on a hot day, the bridge is going to expand. So we need to again give allowance for the expansion. So usually we will fix one side of the bridge, and the other side we will land it on wheels. So you can see wheels over here, so that when it expands, it will move. Okay, sorry for the aeroplane. Okay, so on a hot day, the bridge is going to expand, and but because you have given space, right? So and the wheels, so the expansion can happen in a safe manner. Let's take a look at the uh, real roller. So I don't know whether you can see carefully. Okay, I see properly. This is one part of a bridge. So you see, it's resting on some wheels, and the gap is here. So on a hot day, this part of the metal can expand, and there's still space for them to expand, and it's being guided by the roller. This is another example. This is a bridge, I think you can see. So this part is landing on wheels, and the other part actually you would be able to see that. No, you can't see from this picture, but there will be gaps, so the whole thing can then move.